Hey, Calvin here, and a few years ago on this channel, I did a video on the desk setup that I had about 3 or 4 years ago. Now, what was interesting about this desk setup is that the tabletop was made out of glass, and I got so many questions, so many comments about whether or not the glass was strong enough to hold up my monitor because I had a monitor mount mounted to the end of the desk. And I am here to say once and for all that no, that glass desk setup did not break. The tabletop was totally fine. It was a really strong table, glass top from IKEA, and the mount stayed on just fine. However, it's been a few years and a lot has changed with my desk setup. It is a completely new setup as of right now, and I thought it'd be fun to do a 2023 tour of the setup that I have now, and I'll go over everything from the computer, the monitor, lights, accessories, and a few other things, so I think it'll be a lot of fun. Now, overall, I went for sort of a Panda theme, so I really like the black and white aesthetic, obviously, and I wanted to incorporate that on my desk. Okay, so to start off, let's talk about the desk itself. Now, the tabletop is actually a autonomous desk tabletop, and I originally got that for my work setup. So I have a work desk specifically for work. I work remotely, so I have all my monitors and my computers and all my testing devices on that setup. But the problem was the autonomous desk was a little too small. So what I did instead was I went to IKEA, I got a bigger tabletop for my work setup, and I used this autonomous desktop for my personal setup. So the tour that I'm going to give is my personal desk space. This is what I use for all my personal projects, YouTube, etc. And what I did was I got some trestles. These are the mid-back trestles from IKEA. They don't originally come in black, at least I don't think so. And what we did instead was we just spray painted them black because I really wanted this Panda theme, this black and white theme. I think it has nice contrast with the white tabletop, and I think they turned out really nice. Now, the trestles themselves have these shelves on the bottom, so these are really cool for just putting extra stuff there on the bottom. It could be books, accessories, whatever you want. And for cable management, don't laugh at my cable management. The rack itself, the thing holding up the cables, is also from IKEA. I think it was like 11 or 12 bucks, and I just screwed that to the underside of the desk, and it worked just fine. Okay, so moving on to the lights, I have a Nanoleaf strip light on the very end of the desk, and this is really nice because it's LED, it connects with my smart home accessories, and I can change the colors right from my phone, so that's really cool. And then for my desk lamp, I have this industrial looking lamp that I got from Amazon. I think it might have been like $25 or so, so not very expensive, but it is a really nice aesthetic lamp that I think fits well with the setup. The only problem I have with it is that it has 3 settings. It has a dim setting, a medium setting, and a high setting. The problem is the medium and the high are very, very bright, so there's not much of a in-between between the low and the high brightness settings. But it is what it is. I just keep it on at the low setting just for aesthetic. I think it just looks nice. And what's cool about this is that you can adjust the settings just by tapping on the base of the lamp, so that's pretty cool. Now, what's cool about this light setup is that I have it set up with a scene automation with HomeKit. So I could just say, hey Siri, turn on Mac time, and it will turn on the lights, turn on the speakers, and the desk lamp, and I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's move on to the monitor. This one's exciting. So this is the BenQ PD2700U 4K monitor. This thing is awesome. I think I got it for around $500, so it's a little bit more pricey than your standard monitors. However, I did want something that was 4K, and I'm really excited because this was my first 4K monitor, and I needed something that was really color accurate. So this monitor supports 100% of the sRGB color spectrum, and for those of you that work in colors and photo and video, you know that you need very precise colors. Now, I also wanted something that could support HDR video because nowadays a lot of phones or phone cameras can support HDR. They can record in HDR footage, and you need a special kind of monitor or screen to actually view that footage. And I also like it because it has a matte finish on the screen, so it's a little bit of an anti-glare coating, which is really nice. And for the stand, I actually don't use the stand that it came with. Instead, I just have it mounted onto a Visa mount on a Vivo mount, and I think that works very well. It gives it kind of a more sophisticated look, in my opinion. Okay, moving on to the peripheral. So for my keyboard, I have the Logitech K780 keyboard. I do also use the Apple Magic Keyboard from time to time, but I do like this Logitech keyboard for a few reasons. And I actually did a video on this on my channel, and so you can check that down in the description below if you would like. But the keyboard itself, it has this very modern aesthetic. I really like the round keys, and the typing experience on this thing is really, really nice. For the mouse, I have a Logitech MX Master Series 3 for the Mac, and it's just, if you know mice, this is a really, really good mouse. It is very ergonomic. It can switch between multiple devices, and I think it just fits the aesthetic really well as well. Now, I do also use a trackpad, specifically the Apple Magic Trackpad 2. This is really important to me because when you're working with a lot of video and footage, you want something that can scroll left and right very, very easily, and all the gestures that are available on a lot of Mac computers, they just work better with a trackpad. So I got this trackpad used on eBay. I think it was like 50 or 60 bucks, but it's worked really well. So I pair it alongside the mouse and the keyboard, and I think that entire setup just works really well for me. And finally, the desk pad itself. This is a Dawntree desk pad. It's a 40-inch by 16-inch pad, and it has this really nice felt finish to it. It's made out of cloth, and one, it fits the Panda aesthetic that I'm going with, and two, it just has plenty of space to put my mouse, my trackpad, and my keyboard. Okay, moving on to probably my favorite part about this entire setup, the speakers. So I really need good sound quality. These are the Edifier R1280Ts, and these are excellent speakers. So aesthetic-wise, I think they look really nice. They have this wood panel finish on the sides, and on the front you can either use the cover that it came with or just remove it, and it gives you this very aesthetic industrial look, and I think that fit the theme of this desk very nicely. So I don't actually put the covers on, I just leave them bare, and I think they look very, very nice. And the sound quality is excellent. For desk speakers, these are really, really good speakers. They are loud and thumpy. They can get very, very loud without the distortion. Some speakers just get loud and they get super distorted and the sound doesn't sound quite right. But these, they can go up to a very, very high volume, sound great. They're very balanced, so all the lows, the mids, the highs, they are very balanced and sort of in tune. And I got them for a pretty good deal, refurbished off the Edifier store on Amazon, so I couldn't pass that up. And finally, moving on to the brain of this setup. So I finally upgraded to a proper desktop computer. This is the M1 Max Mac Studio, and this thing is a beast. So this is the 10-core CPU, 24-core GPU version. I've upgraded the storage to 1 terabyte. This thing is so powerful. I had an old Intel-based machine a while ago, and the thing with that is it was just very, very slow, and it wasn't meeting my requirements for things like working in video, editing, exporting, all that sort of stuff. So this computer really just took my rendering times from 20 or 30 minutes down to just a couple minutes max. And sometimes I can even get render times down under 60 seconds. I love all the ports. I love the power this thing packs. And honestly, for my setup and my workflow, putting some good money into a proper workstation is really, really important. And so I just finally, I bit the bullet and I just bought it, and I'm very, very happy with it. I hope this thing lasts me for a very long time. I don't upgrade my computer too often, but this thing has just been awesome. So it's been a lot of fun to work with. Now, lastly, I also have this little Maxonar stand. This is for my iPhone or my iPad. It's really nice. It's made out of aluminum and has the space gray color aesthetic to it. And it's very nice. You can tilt it back and forth. The stand itself is just very lightweight, so you can move it around. Okay, and that is it. That is my desk setup tour for 2023. I'm pretty happy with it. It's nothing crazy, but I think it just fits very well with what I'm looking for, and I love the Panda theme. I know I've said the Panda theme a million times in this video, but I really like the black and white setup. I think it looks very, very nice. Now, if you guys have any questions on any of the stuff that I mentioned, please leave those down in the comments below, and I will be there in the comments conversing with everybody. So I'll see you guys there, and until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. All right, peace.